Hello everybody, digital video and audio students. I'm going to talk about assignment 2 today, but I'm only going to talk about the first exercise mainly. Assignment 2 has 4 exercises. The first 2 are audio exercises and the next 2 are camera shooting, video shooting exercises. But the 2 sound exercises, there's editing. You have to download a couple of poems that we've supplied, and you've got to turn it into one poem about a minute long. The second one is a field trip, and you've got to mix the tracks and blend the tracks and get some sound effects and use your voice and write a little story. But I'll talk about that in a separate video. I'm working on a Mac today, but it shouldn't be any different from a PC. I'm going to show you how to do assignment 2 exercise 1 on the software called Audacity. Audacity is similar to Audition. Audition is Adobe. It has lots of bells and whistles and is much more sophisticated and more professional, but Audacity is free. You can download it for free. It's easy to use, very simple to use, and there's a really good help menus for it, and it's easy to learn. But I'll show you a bit about Audacity today. And Audacity is basically all you need for this course, actually. So don't go to the expense of creative clouding or getting Audition unless you really want it, because Audacity will do the job. But here's our course website. We've had a look at assignment 1 and we've done assignment 1, but I'm going to look at assignment 2 today. Hopefully it'll come up somewhere. So there's assignment 2 information from here, assignment 2 up to here. You'll see the details here. Click to download assignment 2 details. And here are the files of the poems that we're going to use. So I want you to read this that's up here, and I'll have a look at it now. Then I'll show you how to download the poems. So I'll go here, have a look, open. So this is the assignment. The assignment part 1 is audio editing. You're going to use these 2 poems or 3 poems or 4 poems, but not 1 poem. You've got to use at least 2 poems to make a 1-minute audio file, which is a mix-up of or a cutout or a re-edit of those poems. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll download them in a moment. I'll download 1 to show you how to get started. They're poems by Edgar Allan Poe. They're recorded. They're not recorded very well. They're just in a sort of a normal voice. But your job is to edit them together to make them into 1 poem, less than a minute long, about 60 seconds long, exactly 60 seconds long, or over. Not much more than 60 seconds. Around 1 minute. The audio files are pretty easy to follow, and I'll put them into Audacity in a moment. But that's what you've got to do for audio editing. As I say, next time I make a video, I'll deal with this particular audio recording and mixing exercise. And I'll try to make little videos for each of these exercises. So I'll go up to I'll get Audacity up. Well, first of all, what I should do actually, is to go here to this part of the course. This is where the poems are, and you right-click or save target as or whatever you like, and say on a Mac you say save link as, and you'll save it up where you want it. So just save it, remember where it is, and then download Audacity or get Audacity fired up, and we'll have a look and I'll show you how to put things in. I've got Audacity here. It's kind of up the top here. It's called Audacity, Audacity, Audacity. That's it there. And to get a new file in it, I go File, New, and it comes up with this kind of screen. This is the kind of screen that you get. Now there are a number of things in Audacity. There's controls, but so you can play or stop and things like that. But a lot of it you can just use a space bar. Just use a space bar for stop and go. This little box is the most important thing area here. It's got a selection tool and called an envelope tool for changing the levels of the sound and drawing a graph or plotting a shape of the sound that you want. And this is the magnifying tool, and this is the slide tool, and I'll show you how that all works. I'll just import the Audacity file that I had. Okay, this is Audacity, as I said. Click there. There's controls up here. There's controls here. These are the most important things, as I've said. Now I'll import that track in. I can just drag it in from where I have it, or I can import it in, but I'll just drag it in. And it puts the track in here. As you can see, it's got that sort of waveform look. The height of that means the kind of, I suppose, the loudness and how loud it is. But it's a waveform map, and it's actually easy to see. You can see particular words and phrases if your ear and eye tuned up together to look at this stuff. Now the tools up here are mainly, this one's the selection tool. This little thing here, this tool here, this little tool here, selection tool, and that allows you to select part of the file.
Maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
And play it. Or you can select the whole thing and play it. Once you've selected something, you'd also cut and paste it. It's a bit like editing in Microsoft Word. You can take something out and take it, put it back in again. Just using cut and paste, Control C and Control X. This tool here is for changing levels, but you may not want to use in this exercise. You can change the levels, that's the audio levels, and you can put little markers in there and change the level around strangely. You can do all sorts of things. But I'll just go out of there, and we'll talk about that more in the next exercise. But so that's how we've got that track in, and that's how the tools that you can use. But we can go back to the start or further back.
Annabelle Lee. Annabelle Lee.
It's selected there. I'll just go here.
Edgar Allan Poe. Recorded for LibriVox.org.
So he's
Edgar Allan Poe. Recorded for LibriVox.org. It was many and many.
See, the poem actually starts here. So this stuff here can just go, and you press delete, boink, and it starts. The poem will now.
It was many and many a year ago
start
in the kingdom by the sea that a maiden lived.
It'll start on cue. You cut bits out. So this is a bit like the first exercise. You can cut bits out, or you can build something up. So you might like that bit.
With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me.
Or you might not like that bit. You might not like that bit, and then you can delete that bit. It's good also for deleting spaces and things. You'll just delete parts of the video. So basically it's a bit like word processing. You chop bits and pieces out, but you can get into fine detail. You can get into fine detail by going to this tool here, the magnifying glass tool, but it's got better controls here. And you can stretch out what you're doing and see a phrase.
I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea.
So you see that? Or you can just say there, I want that sound reduced. I want to cut that space out, that silence out. You can cut that one out. That's silence, or you can cut it out. So you can do all sorts of things with it. There are other tools, and one day I'll get into that more, but you can generate effects onto things. You can select a part. You can make it, you can change the pitch, change the speed, put echo on it, fade it in, fade it out, put reverb on it. So I won't do that today, but you just play around with that stuff and have fun with it, because it's actually good fun software. So let's say we've got this track. We can cut it, we can edit it by taking bits out and then putting the other track up and editing it by taking bits out. But a good way to do it, I think, is this. You go into tracks, add a new audio track. There's a new audio track. You might find a bit of this poem that you like here. I'll just go back with the magnifying glass so it's a little bit easier for me to... You might find that bit you like. I'll just click that and get it a bit more accurate. You might find that bit you like, and you can just go Control Cut or Control Copy and put it there. Then you find another bit you like. You can have two tracks up here, one and another one with both the poems in. Control C and Control V. And then you've got these bits and pieces building up your little story. Now these things can be slid around by using this tool here. See this time shift tool, that tool there? So I'll go here, I can select it like that, I can slide them back, I can slide them to the other side of it. I can play around with it. I can put these things around, I can join them up, and we can play that if we've got this tool on. Select the whole thing, play it. It's going to be...
This maiden, I was a child. No.
Oh, see, it's doubled sound. That means that track's playing at the same time as that track. So we'll just mute that track and hear what we're making.
And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. We loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. That the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee.
So there you are. We've constructed something. It's not particularly good, but it's just the way you do it. As I say, you can put another track here, import another poem, the other poem, or another two poems, and build a track here, a track here, a track here, and grab bits and put them into this kind of track there. If you want to play this one again, put it back onto mute. You can play it by itself, and it'll black that one out. Mute and solo are kind of just useful things so you can move around. So we've covered downloading the poems. We've covered importing the poems into Audacity, and we've mucked around and cut around a bit and played with it a bit. Let's say you make your poem. I'm not going to tell you a lot more, but let's say you construct your poem and you like it. You can put things in here. You might want to put something here. You might want to generate silence. You might want to generate, I don't want 30 seconds of silence. I maybe want 1 second of silence. Let's see what I do there. It put too much silence in, but then I can, of course, I can go back and then just press delete and put more silence in. I put too much silence in there. I don't think we need silence, but you can do all sorts of things like that. You can also do another track, add a new track, and these things, as long as you've got this time shift tool on, as I say, that's the select tool. That's the level, changing the level of the sound, which you may not have to use in this one because it's a single track thing you're making, a single track file you're making. I won't worry about that for changing the waveform a bit. That's the magnifying glass, and that's the time shift tool for just moving bits around. So you've built another track, and I can cut or copy this and put this one here. Also, I can start using that track, this time shift tool, to move this one down into there. There's all sorts of things you do. I think you can hold shift down, it'll keep it there, or duplicate it, it'll put it there and leave it there. But there's a number of things you can do. Let's say you've made your poem. So that's the one, maybe there wasn't room for it. Got to have room for it to do it. So you might close all these gaps and add silence and do things that you like to it. And let's say that's your poem. I would then mute these fellas So that's the only one that's going to play back. That's the only one that's going to play back. Basically solo it. And that's your track of your poem. If you export the whole thing with all these things on, it's just going to it's just going to be a jumble of sound. So, but once you've got this track here, you can go into your export area, export audio, and you will export it to 16-bit PCM as an MP3 file. That's all we need. And I will save it to I can't see, hang on. I'll save it somewhere. I'll save it to my 16 gig thing and save it, and just say it's got a little thing on it to tell you what it is, and okay. So it's saved onto there as an MP3, and that's your file that you submit. They record mono. The idea is just to get the couple of poems in there, cut them, muck around with them, a bit like the first exercise, and create something that kind of makes sense, but is kind of interesting at the same time. As I say, the play, you can play it by just pressing your keyboard, your space bar.
And this maiden, she lived.
And stop it using the same thing, the space bar. As I say, the main tools are these ones up here, but don't worry about that one at the moment. I'll talk about that in the next video. I think that's about it for this particular video. I can't see anything else, and if there's any more, I'll add a bit to it, or I'll email you or something like that. But this is the video that may help you get into exercise 1. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.